Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. It makes sense here only at the moment to look at the short-term developments because the medium-term and long-term I have discussed in previous videos and not much has changed. Yeah, but on the short-term there's always something happening. So first observation that we have here on the 1 hour chart is that volume is absolutely decreasing. No surprise, it's weekend. But what you typically see when you see a pattern like that, like we had it here, you see usually a lot of volume coming straight after. So this happened here as well. We saw a decline. Yeah, I saw a decline in volume. And then you saw here a lot of volume come in. Well, not a lot, but it increased again. In this case, it was selling volume. And yeah, I don't know what it will be in this case, but there will be something. And for that purpose, it's important to understand where we are actually in the charts. And are there any sort of patterns that we can draw, any ranges that we can identify that could give us a hint when there is a breakout, in which direction it may go? Because at the moment, the market is clearly consolidating after a downtrend very similar to Bitcoin in a descending channel. That is not a bear flag, technically at least not. Technically, a bear flag would go to the upside and then we come down. So you would normally have something like this here, yeah, where you have a channel and then you consolidate within this channel before you normally, again, not always, but normally break out to the downside. Now, this is exactly not what we can see. We can actually see here a strong move down with a slowing down of the downtrend that could indicate that at some point here we are finding support and we're going to move up again. Now, this is speculation at this case. We always need to wait for a signal in the markets. Everything else is for everything else, you need a crystal ball, and at the moment I don't have one. So what we can identify here is on the 1 hour chart, certainly a channel, and you could argue that we have broken out of it. Now the tricky bit is on the 1 hour, you can also draw it like that, which means we haven't broken out. I'd rather stay on the safe side here and say, no, we haven't broken out. But what we can see here is that this looks actually a little bit like a broadening descending wedge. So even though it's looking very channel-like, these are extending out a little bit, so slightly broadening wedge that could indicate that we're actually going to break to the upside because it is not a bear flag. And what we are doing here, we are slowing down the downtrend, consolidating a little bit, and that could give us a hint that there will be a breakout to the upside. But that is speculation. What we need to understand is when the breakout happens, then it is time to do something, not before. So what we can see here is a potential point where we found resistance. Obviously, this can be traded as well, even though it's probably a bit too late for that now because the channel already has a lot of touch points. So you can obviously trade up and down here, even though it's really just very, very small, that range. Yeah, but you've got support levels here. Next support could be in the area around 75 cents. And it's absolutely realistic that we could get there without major resistance, without major support, I would say. I mean, there was support here at this level around 76. But there is also support down here at 75. So sort of in that range, there will be support, but I don't think it's unlikely that we drop once more to 75 or 76. To the upside here, we would need to break above 78 cents at the moment to really get some sort of a movement to the upside here. First target, in my opinion, and we can draw that here on the chart straight away, we have a clear range here that we can identify, a resistance level here at 80 cents. You can see it here, and this is the 1 hour chart. So today, I'd like to focus a little bit on the short term because in the medium term, no change really. And here, 80 cents is certainly the resistance. You had support here as well. So that makes absolute sense to identify this here as a resistance level, as a range, and we have support here in the region of around 76 cents. So that also makes sense because if we take a look, maybe I need to move that actually a little bit higher. In the end, it's always a bit of a range anyway. So what we could do, have it like that because we found support here, that was close, yeah, and then maybe we have another level here. So it's a bit of a zone that you can identify here. Let me just highlight that maybe here in yellow, just to highlight that zone, because it is not just one level. Prices are typically too dynamic for that anyway. So that is an important level here to the upside. Yeah, we also have a small zone, I would say, but predominantly I would say it's probably sort of maybe starting up there at 80.2, going down to probably something like 79.8 cents. Yeah, so nothing major, but as soon as you break through one of these zones here, that will indicate that we are going to move in either direction. I always need to mention that this is not fortune telling. Yeah, I can't tell you in which direction the breakout will be. I can make my assumptions, but in the end, as a trader, you want to wait for a signal. You don't want to just go long because I think it could go up now based on indicators. We want to wait for a signal. We want to wait for that potential breakout. And this is a very interesting development that we have on a chart, a very clear range in which we currently are. Within that range, you have here a descending channel. And this is now key that this support holds. To be fair, all the way down to 75 cents, in my view, is a critical. Well, it's critical here. Below 75, you can go fairly easily down to that 55 cent level. At the moment, we are holding here, and this is what we're looking out for, this channel. So what would happen if we break out of this small wedge to the upside? Next resistance is around 80 cents. If we break above that, yes, then we could get certainly to 90 cents. That is quite a bit of a move. One way to trade this, and I'm not telling you to do it, this is how it can be done, ideally with volume. So always wait for the volume to come in as well. So let's make the assumption this is breaking out from here. I wouldn't trade this because we're very close to resistance, but if we see a breakout of 80 cents, a retest, then a green candle, I would set a stop loss below that level here. So not, let's say below around 79.5. That's up to you where you want to set that. I would set it just below. If I went in here at 80, that would, I would normally take it, set it 2% below that somewhere, depending on where I go in, 2%, then go in. Yeah, and here the risk to reward is amazing in my view, because you have a potential reward of, let's say you have a risk of roughly 2%, and your reward, depending on where you go in here, let's say we wait for a green thingy here, there could be a 13, or let's just be conservative, maybe a 10% potential profit. So I think that's not too bad, but we need the volume, and we need the breakout first. Everything else is speculation. But this is, of course, only here interesting if you do any short-term trading. Just thought I'd mention it today because it's quite an interesting range. And there isn't too much happening in the markets, but I still wanted to give you the ADA update. Okay, so hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership and maybe even check out the trading course that I'm currently publishing on the website. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.